Have you ever heard the saying, prevention is better than cure? When it comes to your car's automatic transmission, this couldn't be truer. Automatic transmissions are undoubtedly convenient, but improper usage can quickly damage them, leaving you with a hefty repair bill. In fact, automatic transmissions are some of the most expensive parts of a car to fix. But fear not, because we've compiled a list of 13 things to avoid to keep your automatic transmission in tip-top condition. Welcome to this video from Car Computer Exchange, where we'll be sharing some essential tips on how to maintain your car's automatic transmission. Automatic transmissions have revolutionized the way we drive, offering smooth shifting and effortless driving experiences. However, with great convenience comes great responsibility, and improper usage can lead to significant damage to your car's transmission, resulting in expensive repairs. From avoiding sudden stops to keeping your transmission fluid at the proper level, we'll cover all the essential do's and don'ts you need to know. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn how to keep your automatic transmission in good condition. We get it. You're feeling like a pro behind the wheel of your automatic car, and you're ready to take on the world. But hold your horses, cowboy. There are some things you should avoid doing to keep your transmission in tip-top shape. Here are some things to steer clear of. Using 2 feet to drive an automatic car. Listen, we get it. You're used to driving a manual transmission car, and you're used to using 2 feet. But when it comes to automatics, it's a big no-no. Using both feet in an automatic car can cause unnecessary wear and tear on the transmission. Plus, it's just plain dangerous. Imagine hitting the gas and brake pedals at the same time. Not a good look. Stick to 1 foot and save yourself some trouble. Switching to park before the car comes to a complete stop. We've all been there. You're in a rush, you get to your destination, and you slam the car into park before it's even fully stopped. But did you know that this can damage your transmission? When you switch to park before the car comes to a complete stop, you're putting unnecessary stress on the transmission, which can cause damage over time. So take a deep breath, be patient, and wait until the car is fully stopped before switching to park. Driving downhill in neutral. When traveling downhill, it can be tempting to put the car in neutral and let gravity do the work. But this can be a recipe for disaster. When you're driving downhill, the engine is working to keep the car moving, and by putting it in neutral, you're taking away its ability to do so. This can cause the brakes to wear out faster and can even be dangerous in some situations. Keep the car in drive and let the engine do its job. Forgetting to apply the parking brake. We've all heard horror stories of cars rolling away because the parking brake wasn't applied. And while it may seem like an inconvenience to apply the parking brake every time you park, it's a small step that can save you a lot of trouble. Applying the parking brake can prevent your car from rolling away and can even extend the life of your transmission. So don't forget to engage that parking brake. Leaving it in the driveway for a long time. If you're guilty of leaving your car in drive while you're parked or waiting at a red light, you're not alone. But did you know that this can cause unnecessary wear and tear on the transmission? When the car is in drive, the transmission is working, even if the car isn't moving. This can cause the transmission to overheat and even damage it over time. So when you're parked or waiting at a red light, shift into neutral and give your transmission a break. Engaging neutral gear in traffic or while waiting for a green light. Speaking of shifting into neutral, it's important to do it at the right time. While it's okay to shift into neutral when you're parked or waiting at a red light, it's not a good idea to do it in traffic or while waiting for a green light. When you're in neutral, you lose the ability to accelerate quickly if needed, which can be dangerous in certain situations. So keep it in drive when you're on the road and only shift into neutral when you're safely stopped. Now that we've gone over some of the things to avoid when driving an automatic car, let me ask you this. Have you ever been guilty of using 2 feet to drive? Don't worry, we won't judge you. Maybe just a little. Let us know in the comments below. Never let water into the transmission. I know. You're probably thinking, who in their right mind would let water into their transmission? But trust me, accidents happen. Maybe you're driving through a flooded street, or you're washing your car and accidentally spray water into the transmission. Either way, water can cause serious damage to the transmission, leading to costly repairs. So, always make sure to keep the transmission dry and avoid driving through deep water. Don't shift gears from reverse to drive before the car comes to a complete stop. Now, I get it. We're all in a hurry sometimes, and it's tempting to shift gears before the car comes to a complete stop. But let me tell you, this is a big no-no when it comes to automatic transmissions. Shifting gears while the car is still moving puts unnecessary stress on the transmission, which can cause damage over time. So, to avoid costly repairs, always make sure the car comes to a complete stop before shifting gears. Don't rev the engine in neutral. We've all seen those guys revving their engines at stoplights, trying to show off their fancy cars. But did you know that revving the engine in neutral can cause damage to the transmission? When the engine is revved in neutral, it puts unnecessary stress on the transmission, which can cause damage over time. So, unless you want to be the guy stranded on the side of the road with a broken transmission, it's best to avoid revving the engine in neutral. Don't put the car in neutral while driving. Listen, I get it. Sometimes, you just want to coast down a hill without using the gas pedal. But putting the car in neutral while driving is a big no-no when it comes to automatic transmissions. When the car is in neutral, there is no resistance on the transmission, which can cause damage over time. So, to keep your transmission in good condition, always keep the car in dry while driving. Don't ignore the warning signs. Just like with a thermostat, it's important to pay attention to warning signs when it comes to the transmission. If you notice anything unusual, such as strange noises or difficulty shifting gears, don't ignore it. These warning signs could be an indication of a bigger problem, and ignoring them could lead to costly repairs down the line. Don't overload the car. We all love a good road trip, but it's important not to overload the car. Overloading the car can put unnecessary stress on the transmission, which can cause damage over time. So, before you hit the road, make sure to check the car's weight limit and avoid overloading it. Don't ignore the transmission fluid. Transmission fluid is like the lifeblood of your transmission, and it's important not to ignore it. If the transmission fluid is low or dirty, it can cause damage to the transmission. So make sure to check the transmission fluid regularly and change it as needed to keep your transmission in good condition. Well, that's it for our guide on the things you should never do to your car's transmission. Remember, taking care of your car's transmission is essential for keeping your vehicle running smoothly and avoiding costly repairs. So be sure to avoid these common mistakes and your transmission will thank you in the long run. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Car Computer Exchange for more informative and entertaining content on all things automotive. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.